Any more from Al? Is there any more? Oh, this is a long one. This is a long one. So either Al has sent me some knitting needles to while away the long winter hours, knitting a cardigan, or he sent me a not 100% identified new Sansevieria. This is a brilliant plant. This is very, very, very different. This is John Lavranos collected plant. You can see this is an offset from a rhizome, and there's another rhizome coming there. It's Sansevieria from Mozambique, and it's a miniature spoon-leafed form. Now this is incredibly different and adds a whole new dimension to diversity and variation within the Sansevieria group. So each leaf has a long, thin stalk and then spreads out at the end. I mean, look at this guy here. This is one of the newer leaves. So this gives an indication of what the mature plant will look like when it is full of these leaves. And spoon-shaped is a fantastic description. That is a very, very different and very, very exciting. Sansevieria collected by John Lavranos. It's got a collection number here, 593. I don't know if you can see that, Lavranos 593, and it's from Mozambique. Didn't I just mention Mozambique? It's almost as if I knew what was going on. Sometimes. Right, is there anything more from Al? Well, you know what, there is. In this next video, we have another one of those lovely long Sansevierias that gives such height to the collection. And this is another one that Al says, I know what it is, but I can't prove what it is. And this is the Sansevieria intermedia. Look at that great long rhizome there. So this is going to need a really nice long deep pot. And the thing about Sansevieria intermedia is it's kind of, well, intermediate between plants like Sansevieria cylindrica, Batula, and those kind of rush-like looking plants. And that's long. I mean, that's about that longest leaf there, that young leaf coming up there now. That's about 35 centimeters, and that really, really massive, thick rhizomatous growth at the bottom. So you can see exactly where it's come off from its parent plant. You see the ridges in the leaves which allow for contraction. So there we are, Sansevieria intermedia. It does have an ID. It's PF1084. So I'll look up 1084 and see if I can identify what it could possibly be. Right, there's one left, and the one that's left is another long one, but a very different one. And this is a Sansevieria which is related to Sansevieria bella. And you can see it is already starting to put out adventitious roots from here, and it's branching in a range of directions. You see that? So the rhizome is branching there, with the main growth there, it's branching here, and so far it's also branching there. So there again, within 2 to 3 years, this is going to make a very, very attractive clump. So there we are. Let's have a look at what we've got from. Let's see if I can arrange them in a kind of pseudo-scientific way. Okay, so the most recent unpacking was that Sansevieria intermedia, which has got that huge rhizome there, which is going into a central point and developing up into very, 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 very long leaves. That was that Sansevieria intermedia, against a backdrop of a huge number of completely unrelated Echeveria. A lovely plant, that very, very, very statuesque. Okay, we'll put that one down. Okay, the next one was that the one I just showed you was that Sansevieria from Tanzania, which is probably related to Bella. And this is east of Chamala, Chmala, and I do like the way it has a long stalk, and then the actual rosette, it's a very loose rosette of course in Sansevierias, but the rosette is actually on the end of that long stalk. Hope you can see that. There, the lighting's a bit better there. You see that? Okay, so that's a Sansevieria affiliated to Bella from Chamala in Tanzania. And then another long one, I'm pleased I've got some long ones and not just rosetti ones. Another long one is this, the one that Al described as having spoon-shaped leaves, and they're very, very spoon-shaped. I mean, look at that. And this is the one that was collected by John Lavranos in East Africa. And this one is actually from Mozambique. Okay. I'm going to do some research on spoon-leaved Sansevierias when I finish talking to you. Then there were 3 rosetti forms. There was this this little Franciscii. Again, it's got that usual snake plant or dragon plant variegation, the grey leading into the green. And then the second of the rosetti forms from Francisci was this fishery, which is the second fishery in the collection. This one's slightly smaller, but I like the fact that this hasn't been a cutting, it hasn't come off a rhizome. You can actually see the caudex there, and that's the plant in its entirety. This is all that there has ever been, and I like that. I like the fact that it's coming into the Sansevieria collection in its entirety. It's not leaving part of itself behind. Okay, so that was Sansevieria. Clean the label, Sansevieria Fishery. And then the final Rosette form was this very, very nice Powellii. And again, this is as a complete plant. This is the plant. It hasn't been an extension from somewhere else or a runner. And then finally we have this lovely Tylocodon, and this is the rare Tylocodon pearsonii, and I don't make any apologies for including this because it comes from a very, very similar place and similar environment in terms of aridity to the Sansevierias I've shown you, and also because it serves in its way as an introduction into the Tylocodon and cotyledon videos which will follow shortly. But that wasn't a deliberate ploy, it's just what actually happened when I opened the box. Okay, so that's it for now. The next time you see these will be when they're all potted up, and for now I shall leave you with yet another flying overview of absolutely stunning, and I mean stunning, Sansevierias from Sans Al. They really are absolutely exquisite little tropical gems, and I love them. I love Sansevierias and I love Dracæna. Absolutely gorgeous plants. Okay, so it's goodbye from Al, Sans Al. It's goodbye from the Sansevierias, and it's goodbye from Kirkstone. I'll see you ultra soon. Okay, so that's the recent delivery. So part B really of the plants that we looked at in the Sansevieria collection, section 3. So there was section 3 part 1 as it were, and there was also section 3 part 2 which we saw in Sansevierias 4, and this is section 3 part 3 really. So it's the third part of the third mega haul from our good friend Sans Al. So let's have a look at the taller growing plants now. We looked at the Rosette form plants in section 3. So we first of all got that very unusual. Now I just want to focus on something here. I don't know if you can see the label. I'll just take the label out. Okay, so it says Sansevieria species Lavranos 5932 from Mozambique, a miniature spoon-leaved plant. And I did draw attention to that incredibly unusual shape, much more like a Dracæna type shape than a Sansevieria shape. But anyway, moving quickly on, if you look down on the plant, you'll notice that almost uniquely for me, that plant has not been placed into the middle of the pot. And you may know, if you've seen many of my videos, that I'm absolutely obsessive about putting plants into the exact middle of the pot. And the reason for that, of course, is underneath the ground there's a long 2-inch rhizome, and the rhizome is heading in this direction. So I couldn't put it in the middle because then the rhizome would have, well, the rhizome is stopping me putting it in the middle. And it's also got a growing tip on the end. So at some point the rhizome will be coming out around about here or here. And that will be the second head on this spoon-leaved Mozambican Sansevieria. And it really is a most amazingly unusual shape for a Sansevieria. I mean, it certainly feels like a Sansevieria, but those spoon-shaped leaves give a clue to a complex genetic ancestry, which is why Sansevierias have been linked with Dracæna, and now all of these plants technically fall under the Dracæna overarching supergroup. Okay, there's the spoon-leaved Mozambican Sansevieria. And then the next plant was a real beauty. I mean, I was so pleased with this one. And this is the plant which is affiliated, according to Al, to Sansevieria bella, which you saw on Sansevieria collection video number 1. So if you haven't checked out Sansevieria video number 1, this would be the time, because you will see Sansevieria bella on there. And we've already got these, the main stem, as it were, the main cordex there, which is growing very, very nicely. And then we've got these aerial trunks which have created a growth number 1. There is growth number 1, and also growth number 2. And what you can't see is that under the ground there is another rhizome which is going in this direction, which is why I've tried to allow more space on this side of the pot for the rhizome to grow into. An absolute gem of a plant, that. And as I think I said earlier, you can see the relationship between a plant like this, which is so new, it hasn't been completely identified yet genetically, but the links to Sansevieria cylindrica, Betula, and the rest of the longer leaved ones. And speaking of longer leaved ones, if I can just fly over yet again the rosetiform, we have that really long leaved plant. So these longest leaves are about 45 centimeters, and this is the plant which has come labelled as Sansevieria intermedia. It does have a collection number, PF1084, which I will look up at some point. But if Al says it's Sansevieria intermedia, or an affiliate plant, then it probably is. And that was our little tropical display of Sansevierias. And there was one non-Sansevieria in the delivery, and that was that absolutely magnificent Tylocodon pearsonii. I mean, you talk about succulent bonsai. I often talk about succulent alpines, but talk about succulent bonsai. Isn't that not just a miniature spruce without leaves? And of course it will have leaves very, very soon. But as far as miniature bonsai goes, that is a perfect example of why people get obsessed with these caduciform and pachycole plants. But this is a crassula, which is a dicotyledon from that section of the angiosperms, and all of these gems here are all monocotyledons related to agaves, dracaena, aloes, and ultimately part of the lily group. And indeed they were all part of the family Liliaceae until very, very recently. So which plant shall I focus out on before thanking Al for all his help and assistance, his superb knowledge and his careful growing of the Sansevieria collection over the years? I'm going to go out on this wonderful plant from Kamala in Tanzania. I'm quite in love with this. I really like the miniature tree aspect of it, where it's got these overground suckers and then the plant throwing these leaves up from the side. Absolutely great delivery. The Sansevieria Mega Haul Part 3, as it were. Part 3, Part 1, Part 3, Part 2, Part 3, Part 3. So it's a goodbye from me, it's a goodbye from Al, and it's a goodbye from, well, we've ended up on a different plant, Sansevieria powellii. Absolutely brilliant delivery from Sans Al on eBay. Well done, Al. Brilliant work. See you soon.